Monroe Inquiry Fan 2. The Reckoning Reform. The task force didn't begin with fanfare. There was no press conference, no dramatic unveiling on the steps of Capitol Hill. It started in silence, a sealed federal memo, an encrypted email, and a line in small print. Special Investigative Unit Monroe Inquiry authorized for national deployment, scope indefinite. Aaliyah Monroe read the memo, alone in her office. The blinds were closed. The hallway outside buzzed with agents who had no idea that the woman down the hall now carried a mandate that could shake the very institutions they served. It was both empowering and terrifying. The Bureau offered her a support staff, 20 agents, 5 analysts, 2 tech specialists, and Natalie Cruz as lead counsel. Aaliyah accepted under one condition: full operational independence. She didn't want a committee. She wanted autonomy, and they gave it to her reluctantly. The first state on her list wasn't New York, wasn't California, wasn't even Missouri. It was Arkansas. Small towns, big secrets. Whispers had reached her team about local precincts where entire families of officers held generational control. Sons became deputies. Cousins ran internal affairs. Uncles held the mayor's office. Complaints disappeared. Records were lost. Victims were labeled liars. And buried within those whispers was a case from 2019. A black high school valedictorian named Carter Langston was arrested and expelled for allegedly assaulting a white classmate. But his public defender later found that the security footage was altered, missing frames, jump cuts, audio muted. The judge had thrown it out as inconclusive. Carter had left town. Scholarship gone. Record stained. Life derailed. Aaliyah reopened the case. It took weeks of digging, FOIA requests, and quiet interviews. But when her team recovered a backup file from an old server hidden in the metadata of an archive school board meeting, the truth surfaced. The footage wasn't incomplete. It was doctored. The boy hadn't attacked anyone. He had been attacked. And the officer who took the report? His last name was Dobbins. His father was the police chief. His cousin ran the IT department for the school district. When the report hit the Attorney General's office, the pressure came fast. Too fast. Aaliyah received an unexpected call from someone she hadn't heard from in years, Senator Alana Brooks. The voice on the other end was clipped, concerned. "You're making the right enemies," Brooks said. "That means you're doing something right. But be careful. Arkansas isn't St. Louis. They don't fight you in the courtroom. They fight you at the gas station." A week later, a member of her team, analyst Kendra Page, found her tires slashed outside a rural motel. No fingerprints, no footage, just a scrap of paper tucked into the windshield. Go home, Monroe. Back in D.C., the whispers had turned into murmurs. Aaliyah was summoned to a closed-door session with Bureau brass. There were no threats, just veiled reminders. "This inquiry was authorized to expose misconduct," said Deputy Director Marcus Caldwell, "not to become a crusade." "What's the difference?" Aaliyah asked. "A crusade demands belief. A mandate follows facts." "Then believe the facts," she replied. The room went quiet. Meanwhile, public sentiment had shifted. Stories of the Monroe Inquiry flooded news outlets. Podcasts dissected every revelation. Civil rights groups praised her. Police unions condemned her. Protests flared in 3 states, not against police, but for reform. Activists held signs with her face. Children wore shirts that said Monroe Inquiry, truth has a name. But with attention came danger. Natalie received a package with no return address. Inside, a USB stick and a letter. The footage was grainy. It showed a black teenager being tackled by 4 officers. One kicked in the ribs. Another laughed. The timestamp was 2 weeks old. The officers wore uniforms from Columbus, Ohio. The boy's name was Micah Ellison, 16. He hadn't told his parents. Natalie's hands shook as she reviewed the file. Aaliyah's voice, when she saw it, was made of fire and glass. "We moved tonight." They flew to Ohio under cover of darkness. The local DA tried to stall. But Aaliyah had something stronger than leverage. Federal clearance. She met with Micah's family in their modest kitchen. His mother wept. His father stood with crossed arms, broken and burning inside. Micah hadn't spoken since it happened. Aaliyah sat beside him on the floor. Didn't ask questions. Just waited. And then the boy spoke 3 words. He said, "Boy." That was enough. In the months that followed, the Monroe Inquiry expanded. 3 precincts were dismantled. 4 police chiefs resigned. Over 60 convictions were overturned. Aaliyah's name was cited in congressional hearings. She testified before the Senate Judiciary Committee with poise so unshakable even her fiercest critics couldn't pierce it. But with success came isolation. Agents she once trained now avoided eye contact. She heard the word traitor whispered in bureau hallways. Emails came late. Updates were lost. Someone leaked her personal number to fringe groups. And yet she didn't bend, didn't break, because this wasn't about her. It never was. Then something shifted. A source within the Justice Department passed Natalie a sealed document marked top priority. It was a summary of internal findings. Dozens of pages outlining systemic failures in law enforcement accountability dating back 15 years. Buried in the middle, Project Keystone, an informal internal watchdog initiative proposed but never launched after Ferguson. Its architect? Special Agent Bernard Monroe, Aaliyah's father. The file had never been released. After his death, the project had been buried, its proposal shelved. She hadn't known. Tears welled in her eyes. "He tried," she whispered, "and now I finish it." Natalie stood beside her. "We renamed the task force," she said. "To what?" Aaliyah asked. "What he wanted to build." So they did. Keystone Division Federal Unit for Oversight and Equity in Law Enforcement. And this time, it wasn't just a mandate. It was a mission. The final scene wasn't explosive. It wasn't cinematic. It was simple. Aaliyah stood before a new class of bureau recruits. No cameras. No press. She looked out at the room, mostly young, mostly idealistic, mostly unaware of what lay ahead. "Justice," she said, "isn't what happens in courtrooms. It's what happens in quiet rooms like this, when you decide what kind of agent you're going to be when no one's watching." She paused. "You'll be tested, not by bullets, by silence, by loyalty used as a weapon. When that happens, remember this, you don't serve the badge. You serve the people." She stepped down. As she walked past the new recruits, one of them a young black woman with braids and eyes like steel reached out. "Agent Monroe," she said, "we won't let it go back." Aaliyah smiled. Not with pride, with resolve. "Then I can finally rest one day." But not today, because the work was just beginning.